It has grown slightly, Your Grace.
Can you say yet what it is?
We've sent inquiries to the Citadel. They are searching the text for similar cases.
It's a small cut from sitting a throne. It's nothing.
Hey there, quirky folks! I am your host, Anna, and today we're going to answer a question that you might have about King Viserys in House of the Dragon. He has really been suffering mentally and physically. First, he lost his wife, Aemma Arryn, and his newborn Baelon in the first episode. Since then, he had been a prey to Otto Hightower's schemes. His brother Daemon has been a nuisance for him, and now Rhaenyra is causing all sorts of problems. The mental pressure upon him to rule over King's Landing has been immense. But on top of that, he now has a physical disease which just keeps on getting worse. Right from the first episode, we've been noticing this peculiar detail about King Viserys Targaryen. Being a Targaryen, he may be invulnerable to fire, but he is totally vulnerable to pointy things. Apparently, he got a flesh wound from the Iron Throne on his back and it wasn't healing. And by the end of the episode, his pinky also got cut as he was agitated because of Daemon.
But the Iron Throne is the most dangerous seat in the realm.
Well, we can clearly see that, Mr. Viserys. The second episode showed us how the king had bandaged his finger, and when he removed it, we saw how the flesh on his entire finger became rotten. Clearly, no treatments were working on him. We didn't get a peek at his finger in the third episode as Viserys was wearing gloves throughout, but episode 4 showed us how worse Viserys' disease had gotten. The rot had spread to his ring finger as well, and to prevent it from spreading any further, he actually had to cut those 2 dead fingers off. Besides his fingers, we also saw how his back had so many more wounds than presumably came from the Iron Throne itself. Apparently, there's a saying in lore that if a person gets cut off the Iron Throne, then the throne doesn't really accept his or her rulership, and Viserys does seem to be headed towards his death. But what is this incurable disease that he is suffering from? Is it grayscale? Do you guys remember grayscale? It causes the skin to become very thick and scaly. It spreads over time and eventually covers the entire body. Sir Jorah Mormont suffered from grayscale back in Game of Thrones, but he was cured thanks to Samwell Tarly's efforts.
I owe my life, her, and you.
Your father saved me more than once. It's the least I could do.
Even though this disease that Viserys has looks slightly similar, it does seem very different from grayscale. Even Khal Drogo was infected by a blade, so this one's more along the lines of that. Well, we don't have to spend any more time guessing the exact disease, as Viserys actor Paddy Considine recently revealed it. While speaking with EW for the Game of Thrones podcast, West of Westeros, he said, and I quote, "Viserys is actually suffering from a form of leprosy. His body is deteriorating. His bones are deteriorating. He is not actually old. He's still a young man in there. He's just, unfortunately, got this thing that's taken over his body. It becomes a metaphor for being a king, and the stress and strain that it puts on you, and what it does to you physically, what it does to you mentally." Unquote. So, leprosy, huh? Also known as Hansen's disease, this is an infection which mainly causes skin lesions and nerve damage. It has become curable in the present day, but obviously, there was no cure during these ancient medieval times. So, it could swiftly lead King Viserys to his demise. In George R.R. Martin's book Fire and Blood, Viserys died very differently. But here, the writings of his death are on the wall.
The king will die.
It could obviously happen because of his leprosy, as that could make total sense. And it adds another layer of story to the Iron Throne. Apparently, this throne became much smaller in Game of Thrones, and that change could have happened after Viserys died due to the many cuts he got from the Iron Throne. The rulers following him could have made alterations to the throne so it doesn't become fatal for them. What do you guys think about this theory? Let us know in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed the video. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.